do you think that those calling the bids were always worried about, well, did he scratch his ear or, you know, wink his eye? But the auctioneer has a perception of the people in front of him. And I think you know, years and years in the business.
Jerry, you're absolutely right. You know, I get kidded at home when we're working with people, and we'll have somebody, and I will get a bid, and someone will say, well, they didn't bid, but they were just ready to, and you knew that was going to happen. And so they kid me a little bit and go, just pick somebody. That's what Dad does, you know, and that's not exactly true. Or you can look at a person and see them, and see the eye and see the interest and watch them. If you looked a little bit head down the line, the guy'd stand there, open the refrigerator door, you know he's a buyer before you ever got there. And I think that's exactly what you got to do, and I think that's exactly what takes place.
We're seeing quality things. We used to be very general in what we did.
Right.
I think today, we agree or disagree, that we're trying to pull that cream to the top, not
Sure.
just go through and sell. You know, we've had to adjust to the 21st century customer.
Oh, you're going to have to live there. I have an awful time with the computer, and I have an awful time with the online. I'm probably never going to put it back together, but I know we have to do it, and I know it's in our family, and I've said to the kids, you got to get her. You got to come. My daughter's extremely good with a computer, and I have a grandson that just grew up with it from a little boy, and it doesn't intimidate him like it does me. And I know they do that. And Sheila said the other day, I said, how'd you get along in that seminar? I was a little late, and she said, that's great. And I said, I didn't get into the tail end of it. She said, I got everything for the front, Dad. I know how to get a hold of these bankers now, and the computer will let you get a hold of people you need to get a hold of. It's there. I don't know who put it all in the computer, but she's there, and you better the internet, and you better learn how to do some of it. I'm not sure. I've had people say to me that the internet's going to put us out of business. I don't think that's true. I think there's always going to be a great need for the man to walk up to the dooryard and sell a house out there that no one else might have had it if you weren't local, or sell a farm, or sell household goods, or sell some antiques. You know, my mother collected them all of her life, and from the time I was in the auction business, 50 years, and when we sold my mother out, she had collected some great things, and she turned $22,000 into $116,000, and I don't think that's any different than it was today. She knew what she was doing. She was deaf, but she knew what she was doing, and to do all those things was a great thing, and I admired her so much because of her. Since I've had loss of hearing, I watch her. How did she negotiate what she negotiated with, and she did it. She did it right beside me. She did it out in front of me. She did it in front of other people, and she carried it home, and she knew what she had when she bought it, and we found out how good it was and how smart she was when my mother died at a little over 100 years old. And she was 100 years, 4 months, and 8 days, and when we sold everything that she had, it turned into a lot of money. And a lot of the things that she had, we had no idea, but I know she did. So I think that's still going to be there, and I don't think that'll ever change. I think as long as we live here in the auction business, we're going to walk into a house where some hoarder filled it so full, there's no other way to get it out. You can't get it out online. You got to go in there one piece at a time and take it out one piece at a time. We have had good fortune to have 4 or 5 people that are family, husband and wife team, that will go in and pack it and find it. And you find things that you didn't even think was there that will be worth $500 or $1,000. And I don't know about you, but I've seen them a lot of time. You didn't even realize how good it was until you got there and you saw what a nice item was there that had been left back in the closet or under a dresser, someplace, back in an old dresser someplace, and when it came out, there it was. And
it's product knowledge. It's empathy with our clients.
Sure.
And that empathy to me exists because you're at that house.
Yeah.
That picture of the closet will not allow you to do that.
That's right.
I guess that's our opinion. There's some that say you can, but I think there's still a need at times to literally touch it, feel it, and know face to face, that client, that we're dealing with. Yes. What's the most unusual? Can you think of the
things that we sold?
Something strange or different, or
We've sold some unusual things, I guess. You caught me there, Jerry, thinking about some things that we've handled and sold, and I guess I'm at a loss there, Jerry. But I
did a funeral home one time.
You did a funeral home?
A funeral home. the caskets and the cooling beds and the baby caskets. So there are unusual things that happen out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess, but yeah, any funny incidents that occurred, where you got caught off guard on the auction block.
That's right.
That you have to be on your toes throughout.
You can find it. That's the place of the internet. That's such a wonderful thing. That walked into a house the other day, and a nice man. He really was. I've known him. He'd done a lot of work for us. He built things and handled things. And he said, "See that clock up there, Ned?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I bought that from you for $7.50." And I said, "You did?" He said, "You know how much it's worth?" And I said, "No, tell me how much it's worth." And he said, "They tell me $750 to $800." And I said, "Darn, you made a good deal there." So curiosity bothered me, so I wrote the name of the clock down. ATMOS was the name of the clock. I walked back home, and as bad as I am with the computer, when it said search, I put ATMOS up. Boy, there they were, those clocks bigger and bigger than thunder, and there he was, just as bright as he could be. They were $600-800 a piece.
Or more.
Or more.
And possibly more.
So I got smarter in seconds, and he taught me, and the worst part about it is maybe someplace along the line somebody we should have known more than we did with the time I sold the clock and didn't know it. But I think it happens all the time. I don't think you can be that smart, anybody.
Well, we can feel freer to call each other today. I remember when I started, the gentleman I worked with was very not self-centered per se of himself, but just in his protection of his business. Somebody else might know what I'm doing. And the world knows what we're doing anyway today, so we might as well get out there and share it and strive to be better.
Oh, I agree with you. I used to have a partner that was with me, and he was great to keep everything quiet so nobody knows, but that's all wrong. You need to very much enlighten everybody with what you know. And if you see a guy say, "Hey, have you seen any of them ATMOS clocks? Them son of a guns are worth a lot of money. Better look that up."
Better look that up.
And I think that's true. And I'm the guy that sold it for $7.50 and know it's worth $750.
Is there anything you'd like to add, or any advice to those starting in the business, or anything else you'd like to say?
I wouldn't know. It's been a kind of an emotional day. I didn't really think too much about being in the Hall of Fame. It's a nice thing, and there's some awfully nice people that I know that have been there, and I know that the walk down the road, some people that I admired through the years. I think of John Andrews, who helped me a lot of times, came and had some work for me. And Steve's uncle, and John Andrews was a wonderful man, and I can think sometimes that some things that he said were very, very good. I know that one thing he said to me, and I've never forgotten that. I think that probably cost me a lot of money, but I called him to help me do a livestock sale one day, and they had a lot of hogs. And we were walking down through the hog barn. The man had the hogs, looked at John Andrews, and he said, John said, "Why don't you buy them pair of boars there and take them back to the Amish country and you can sell them?" John never took a step out of beat. He kept right on walking. He said, "We're sellers, not buyers." And he was right. John Andrews was a wonderful man, and John Andrews was exactly right. If you're going to be an auctioneer, sell the stuff. Don't buy it and take it home with you. And don't abuse the buyers. They have that right, and you have a right to keep your mouth shut and stay out of it, I think. And I remember John Andrews saying, "We're sellers, we're not buyers." And I think there's a little truth in that. Not wrong with buying something at an auction, but buy it because you want it. Don't buy it because you're going to try to go home and make $10 or something. That's not the way that's not the way it's arranged.
Well, it's spanning 2 centuries now. How about that? You don't think of it in those terms, do you?
Yeah,
1950 to 2010, 2011. Ned Gregg, we appreciate it again on behalf of the Auctioneers Association.
You're welcome.
The OAA. Thanks for being with us, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, and all the people in the association for giving me a wonderful honor. Thank you.